Hi everyone, it has been a while, but the school year is over and I have a lot more free time, so hopefully I can provide content a little more often for a little while. This video script was actually created prior to the release of the Paladin Strait music video. The music video coming out is likely why it hasn't been posted until now. Please enjoy. Hey guys, it's time to talk about Tyler, or perhaps Clancy's, favorite movie, Donnie Darko. This deep dive will be full of evidence of the overall themes of this channel: creation in the form of destruction, acceptance, and self-sacrifice. One of Tyler's favorite movies is Donnie Darko. He has dressed as the two main characters, and when you get into the plot and the lore behind the movie, it becomes obvious that it has very much had a big influence on Tyler. Spoilers ahead. The movie takes place in the year of 1988, the year of Tyler's birth. It starts with the main character, Donnie, sleepwalking and wandering around his house in the middle of the night, just like we have seen in the music video for Routines in the Night. An even stronger connection between the movie and the band is Frank. That is, Frank the Rabbit. Don't forget the references to rabbits we've been seeing since Blurryface. Death inspires me like a dog inspires a rabbit. The rabbits on the bullet he makes during the craving. Used to play pretend bunny in Stressed Out. And now, also, right before I finish making this video, I find out about Tyler's shirt with a rabbit on it. But there's more. Before I even started creating this video, I have been looking into Norse mythology that might be related to 21 Pilots lore. I didn't get very far by the time I was inspired to create this video, and yet I was pulled right back around into the Norse. Let's talk about the puka. The puka is a creature in the lore of many northern countries: Ireland, Norway, and Sweden, to name a few. It's a shapeshifter who often takes the form of a rabbit. There is a theory that this creature was the inspiration for the character Frank in Donnie Darko. The puka is known to take the form of a horse, attack unsuspecting travelers, and throw them onto his back, and take them on terrifying rides through the woods, while the involuntary rider screams in fear and gets bruised and scratched up by his surroundings. The horse takes someone on a journey and keeps control of them the whole way. The horse that also very often appears as a rabbit. I don't care, you control me, lead me anywhere, comes to mind. Eventually, the movie comes to an end, and Donnie kills Frank in the insurance trap. Whoa, okay, we have a lot to talk about with this, just the movie on its own. The meaning of the film is contentious. There are many theories, and none of them is straightforward. However, one theory stands out the most as being closest to the full meaning of the film. Basically, the film is about time travel, but also has very little to do with what one would think about when time travel comes to mind. In Donnie Darko, time travel comes about as a side effect of when something called a tangent universe is created. Each tangent universe can only stay stable for a few weeks, and in the case of Donnie's tangent, the universe collapsed 28 days after it was created, when a jet engine landed on top of Donnie's bedroom. Thanks to sleepwalking, Donnie was not in his bed and survived, but this is not what happened in the primary universe, or what we can call the true reality. The problem is that our main character suffers from schizophrenia, supposedly. So, when he sees a giant, scary-looking rabbit, the audience might easily write it all off as a hallucination. But the bunny arrives, and just as the puka takes its victims for a scary ride through a journey, Frank starts directing Donnie as to what he needed to do. Whether it was destroying his school with flooding, or burning down the house of an influencer who ended up actually being a... The themes of this movie are what bring us close to understanding the lore of 21 Pilots much more. Theme number 1, destruction as a form of creation. This idea comes from a short story called The Destructors, written by Graham Greene. This story is assigned reading for Donnie's English class. The same class, by the way, where reading Watership Down, a story about bunnies, is also assigned. Here, we find even more connections to 21 Pilots. The first character we are introduced to in this story is 9 years old. The plot of The Destructors goes like this. A group of young boys who consider themselves a gang decide to destroy the house belonging to an old man from their neighborhood while he's not around. They gut the house, pulling out all the floorboards, piping, and so on. The only part of the house they leave untouched is the walls. Streaks of light came in through the closed shutters, where they worked with the seriousness of creators. And destruction, after all, is a form of creation. A kind of imagination had seen this house as it had now become. There are many Easter eggs that hint at 21 Pilots in this story. Mike is 9 years old. They meet at 9 sharp. The fan light is specifically named as something that has survived a bombing, leaving it to be available to be destroyed by the group of boys. There's a spiral staircase just like the one we see Tyler sitting on during routines in the night, and more. Things move forward following the English class where Donnie met his girlfriend. Sadly, in less than 28 days, Gretchen would die. This is what created the insurance trap, an unknown plan created to ensure that Donnie would do exactly what needed to be done to prevent everyone in his universe from dying in the collapse. Donnie kills the time-traveling Frank. He moves on with the plan, which in some way he innately knows after reading the philosophy of time travel. Instead of walking away from his home that night, he laid down in bed and accepted his fate in this version of the world and died. All in all, there are many theories about everything that happens in this film, just like there are many made about Dema. The strongest and most common thread among these theories is that Donnie has to die to save the people he loves from dying. And he does so after this is ensured by characters like Frank and Grandma Death. A big theme during the film is the dichotomy of love versus fear, which Donnie protests. In a video, it is shown at his school. A woman talks about not just looking at the mirror, but in the mirror. Human life is entirely too valuable to be controlled by fear. The name of this film series Donnie and his class are subjected to is called Controlling Fear. Fear has always been a major theme in 21 Pilots, and needing a sense of control has been just as big. Tyler created Dema to feel control, in his own words. Lastly, there's a concept coming from the book on time travel within the movie that talks about the quote-unquote manipulated dead. To me, that sounds like someone who is under control after seizing. They are dead and they are being manipulated by someone else. The concept in the film is not related to that, but the words sound like they could inspire something like what we deal with in the Dema storyline. Speaking of which, we need to take a listen to Donnie's therapist with her short speech on the end of the world. While you listen to this, keep in mind that Dema is created by Tyler and he intends to destroy it.
If the sky were to suddenly open up, there would be no law, there would be no rule. There would be only you and your memories, the choices you've made, all the people you've touched. If this world were to end, there would only be you and him, and no one else.
I'm not going to go through the entire plot of this movie step by step, but go ahead and watch it for yourselves, and you guys will see that it is dripping with influence over everything Tyler has written. So now let's go back to Dema and Clancy. First of all, we have destruction as a form of creation. I've been theorizing about this concept for a while now. I believe destruction as a form of creation is going to be a huge part, maybe the end-all be-all, of what will be the end of the narrative. I believe it can and most likely will be taking form in the destruction of Dema, but also in the self-sacrifice of Clancy, just like Donnie sacrificed himself for the people in his universe. But the self-sacrifice of Clancy is not the same as any form of suicide or self-destruction. I believe it can and most likely will be taking form in the destruction of Dema, but also in the self-sacrifice of Clancy. But the self-sacrifice of Clancy is not the same as any form of suicide or self-destruction. It's in the form of becoming someone else. How this is going to happen is yet to be seen. Creation in the form of destruction. Acceptance and self-sacrifice. A car, a torch, a death seems to be coming for us. Honestly, there are so many things to talk about with this topic that I have lost all ability to organize it in a way that will make sense, but that's the point. Donnie Darko definitely influenced Tyler in his own creativity in some ways, and we should pay attention to that. And we should pay attention to the character of Frank, because he is very similar to the Torchbearer in all of the lore that we have seen from the very beginning. Which also is interesting considering what Tyler has said about Josh in the music videos recently, that sometimes he isn't actually there and he's not real. So I'm just going to leave this off like very casually as I am right now. Please feel free to ask questions, or if you're familiar with the movie or you go and watch the movie, leave comments about other things that you could see being related to the lore and what's going to happen next. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been so long, and I'm glad that I've finally been able to have some time to get back to this. Hopefully that means I'm also going to be back again soon with another video. Until then, goodbye and peace out.